Do you know that over 2.6 billion people are disconnected from the World Wide Web? And with that being said, imagine a kid trying to do his homework without the internet, or applying for a job, or schedule a doctor's appointment, or connect with someone that you love. And although the world is already utilizing the internet globally and in many ways is possible, that is not the reality for everyone, unfortunately. Today, I want to talk about the digital divide, or the gap between the people who have easy access to the modern technology and those who do not have those. At first glance, it might seem like a minor inconvenience, or you might think that, I'm not really affected by this, so why care at all? But the thing is, the reality is that these divides determine how or who gets an education, who gets healthcare, who gets a job, or more so, who has a better future. In 2020, during the height of COVID-19 lockdown or pandemic, millions of students worldwide were forced to adapt into a remote learning. But for many, remote learning is a very hard reality because some of them didn't have devices. Some of these students had no broadband connection. Some of them didn't even have the proper environment to learn remotely. An example of this is in the US. 1 in 3 low-income families didn't have adequate internet access during the pandemic. And imagine globally, that number is even worse. In parts of sub-Saharan Africa, less than 20% of households are online. But this is not just really about geography or money. It's also about the demographic background of people, say the age, the educational level, or even race sometimes. We have to remember that digital divide exists in both countries who have advanced economies and those who don't. But how do we close the gap? First, I'd like to think about infrastructure investment. So the governments and private companies invest in rural connectivity, internet connectivity, and affordable high-speed internet, and especially in underdeveloped countries or communities. Next, we should think about the digital literacy program, because giving access to people isn't really enough. In able to utilize that access, we have to first teach them how to use or how to incorporate the digital age in their lives. And lastly, I think about device accessibility. Different institutions such as the schools, non-profits, or the non-government organizations and tech firms can work together to get laptops and tablets into the hands of those who need them. I believe that universal access to the internet should be treated like access to clean water or electricity, a basic human right, not a luxury. Because if the world is changing drastically and shifting very fast with technology, then it is safe to say that everyone should have that privilege. If you're watching this, you are probably online because you won't be able to access this without the internet. And you might even think to yourself again that this does not affect me. But the truth is, the digital divide affects you because it can limit the talent that is spread across many institutions or workforces in our society. It can slow down global innovation, it can widen the economic gap that we are experiencing in our society, and it affects our shared future. If certain communities are offline, the world moves forward without them. And that is not progress. That is simply exclusion. So what can we do? First, we can support organizations who are tackling or who are making progress in addressing this digital divide in our society. Second, if you have the more privilege than others, you can divide your excess devices instead of throwing them away when you finally realize that you've grown out of them. Third, we can all advocate for free Wi-Fi in every spaces. Fourth, we can always start in slow progress, such as teaching an elderly to use a phone, a device that requires internet access. Because I believe that you don't really have to be a tech expert to help. You just have to care. The internet is not just a tool, it is a bridge opportunity to connect and to change. And so I think that we have to bridge those digital gaps that we are experiencing in this modern world. And we have to make sure that that bridge does not leave anyone behind.